Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to our interactive session at Your Soul Soup. My pleasure that you accepted the invitation. It's been lovely having you with us, with a distinguished person, a person who is multifaceted, and with experience of 47 years in the manager experience and over 22 years in higher education as a professor and 9 years over as an HOD. Welcome, Dr. Professor Vinay Naningya, sir. Thank you so much for being here with us. You have guided almost 500 students in admissions to various undergraduate and postgraduates across India and 100 plus in US and Europe. That's marvelous, sir. Sir has been awarded with n number of awards. The list continues with Glory of India Award in 2017, Best Citizen Award in 2015, Devang Mehta Business School Award in 2013, and it goes on and on and on. A well-traveled person across all the 5 continents for business and training, and of course also for the families. A very lovable mentor, a very lovable person as well, a coach, a guide, a lot to learn from sir. He has been HOD of IIT Roorkee thrice and also a senior VP at the SR Group and also a group director at Lagos. A person who links the educations and covered the education vastly from academics to training to managerial skills. In fact, as youth can understand the performance management and what is required in life rightly from sir. So once again, welcome to you here. And IIT is, of course, a dream for every child. IIT is something which every parents wish for, look for, something important what IIT brings to. We talk about extensive education, we talk about very different way of teacher training, the beautiful campuses across, and many more things, because you being in IIT in the campus, and let the audience also know that Roorkee is very close to my heart, sir, and I got to know that you have been there as a HOD, which connects me because that's the place of my father. And IIT Roorkee is very close to me. I shared the photographs with you yesterday, and it was very beautiful connect. One, of course, but of course the second connect, meeting sir in person couple of times, have been a lovely way of learning. The way he handles or he shares his experience is marvelous and can guide the youth in the right directions, because he also look for career counseling and he also does mentorship for the early startups for the students who are passed out from IITs and other universities and college. So sir, I mean IIT and IIT, we
Thank
think
you.
about IIT, we
Thank
feel
you.
about IIT. What makes an IIT such a brand globally, sir?
Madam, thank you very much for an elaborate introduction, first of all. And my journey in IIT started on 15th of June, 1998, when I joined as the first employee and first professor of Department of Management Studies when it was being set up in IIT Roorkee. That time it was Roorkee University. That was in June 1998. And it was only in September 2001 it got converted into IIT. So it was a very interesting time frame for me when I looked at not only setting up an MBA program and a department there during 98, 99, but after MBA, MCA program started there in 1999. And in no other IIT, MCA program has been there. So that is another story I'll tell you when we will discuss that. In 2001 onwards, I could see what could be called as IIT system. When we say IIT system, whatever is common and whatever is similar in all IITs is generally referred to as IIT system. So that is one term used. Another term used is structure. And IIT Act, it is the full form is Indian Institutes of Technology Act 1961. That has given the structure to the IITs. And when we say structure, in the sense that at the top there is IIT Council, which is headed by the Minister of Education in the country. And the other members include directors of all IITs. On top of directors are their chairman, board of governors of all IITs, prominent scientists, educationists, policy makers, civil servants, and some very prominent persons in the country. They are the part of the IIT Council. So IIT Council word has come from IIT Act 1961. This is at the top. It takes care of all policy matters relating to all IITs. For example, admissions. For example, the selection procedure of students in IIT. For example, fees part of IIT. These things which are common to all IITs and which are of great importance, these decisions are taken at IIT Council level, which are common and uniform for all IITs. So IIT Council is at the apex. And then for individual IIT, there is something called Board of Governors. And this Board of Governors is something like Board of Directors in a company. So this Board of Governors is supposed to be doing superintendence, and this is superintendence and direction and guidance to the individual IIT. And this is headed by a chairman, which is appointed by Ministry of Education. He is called Chairman of Board of Governors, and the director of the institute is also one of the members, and it does include, for example, Chief Secretary of the State, where the IIT is located, and again, few prominent persons are included in the Board of Governors of an individual IIT. Now, this individual IIT, BOG, as it is called, is responsible for the policy issues relating to that particular IIT, rather than all IITs. Okay. So this Board of Governors is not involved in day-to-day functions. It is again superintendence, overseeing, control, guidance, direction for this particular IIT. And the director comes back and he does the implementation part of the policy. So director of a IIT is like a chief executive officer. He is like a CEO. Unlike a vice chancellor in a university who is like CMD. Who is like chairman, managing director, who is heading the policy as well as execution. So here, policy part is separated in BOG and execution part is with the director of the IIT. So this is
definitely in that case, it gives a feeling of a corporate feeling and the structure and the governance. From the beginning, the child enters the IIT, of course. So IITs, like we know that IIT Kharagpur is three times.
No, this is not correct, because if you look at it differently, you see our corporate system used to be British style, where the CMD, chairman, managing director, was all powerful. So the vice chancellor is in a similar position in a university. So the buck stops at vice chancellor, okay, and the governor, who is the chancellor, is just a figurehead. So vice chancellor is much more powerful that way. So here the structure created is different. Now, this is just one part which I have described to you. If you go further, IIT structure is again down the line, very interesting. The acts provide for a lot of autonomy and freedom to the director. Now, director will decide to have one deputy director or two directors or 5 deans or 7 deans or 6 deans or 10 deans or associate deans or deputy deans or whatever. So all this is completely freedom to the director. Again, these are operational side. Now, for example, again, the director can delegate power to the deans, whereas vice chancellor never delegates the power. Vice chancellor has his deans who are in advisory position. He does not delegate the power. There's another fundamental difference between a university system and an IIT system.
Now, so that's what you are trying to say, that IITs are different from other academies.
No, I have not completed yet. Let me also tell you. In IIT, every single function, be it hospital, be it library, be it security, be it sports, there's an advisory committee which is headed by this so-called gentleman as chairman, is a professor, always, which again is not true in other universities. Now, for example, in case of IITs, registrar has a very, very minimal role, practically nil. And in university system, registrar is all powerful in terms of as an administrator. That is yet another difference. Now, another interesting thing, in IIT, you don't have controller of examination. This is very interesting. You don't have a controller of examination.
Okay, that's interesting.
And Dean Administration, who is a professor again, under his supervision and guidance, some assistant registrar or deputy registrar, he does compilation of marks, that's all, which is done centrally. Otherwise, you know, the whole process is completely distributed from setting up of paper to examination to evaluation to everything. And the marks are just sent by the concerned teacher or department to the centralized office. And there this compilation is done by assistant registrar or deputy registrar, that's all. So you see, professor is in charge of library, he is in charge of security, he is in charge of hospital, he is in charge of examination. So professor is very, very powerful person in an IIT system, which is not the case in case of a normal university. In case of a normal university, professor is just teaching, that's it. So this was one part in your question. If I come back to, if you allow me to come back to your question, how is IIT so strong? So I told you one is system. System means like admissions is common to all IITs. For example, we want to set up a new department. Now this department is already in IIT Bombay. So we'll get connected to IIT Bombay. We'll get all the guidance from IIT Bombay. Now a new IIT is being set up. So an old IIT does the mentoring. So that is system. So system related issues are there. Then structure is there. Then history is there. Legality is there. For example, I remember when IIT Delhi was set up, the principal of Delhi College of Engineering, Professor Chakravarti, he was offered the directorship of IIT Delhi. He refused. He said, I will not go in that jungle in horse cars. He was happy in Kashmiri Gate. Now, so that means IIT Delhi had no brand at that point of time. Delhi College of Engineering was that big, that good, that strong. So it takes time, over a period of time, reputation builds up. That's another dimension. It is the age of an institution. You see, that also takes time. Another dimension is the leadership. Now, if you don't have a leader with a vision, you can never have a very good institution. So for example, IIT Bombay had collaboration with Soviet Union. IIT Kanpur had collaboration with USA, MIT. IIT Delhi had collaboration with UK. Okay, so all these IIT Madras had collaboration with Germany. Now these people got academic collaboration as well as funding support from these countries. They also got exchange program with teachers. So the teachers came from these countries. Our people went and they took training, sometimes under Ford Foundation grant or whichever grant. They went abroad, they got trained, they learned systems, practices, best practices in the best institutions in the world. They brought those practices to it. So all these things taken together, to sum it up, it is the origin, history, legality. When I say legality means, is it under the central government? Is it under an act of parliament? Or it is under the state government? That is the legality part. Okay. Then autonomy. Then are they governed by UGC or AICT or what? All that. Then how fair is the admission? How good is the placement? What is the culture? What are the practices? All these things taken together is what creates a good brand like an IIT.
So much from IIT, sir. That's what now the new education policy is also come in picture. And but how do you compare the new IITs with the other premier institutions? Because now even the premier institutions are planning to have mini hubs like IITs within the campuses. So your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, you have asked 2-3 questions in one question, so let me respond back to that.
Yeah.
So one of the things, how IITs were set up was very interesting. There was a committee of NR Sarkar, Sir NR Sarkar, Sir Nalini Ranjan Sarkar was the chairman of a 22-member committee set up by Humayun Kabir, which was under the direction of I think executive council of the Vice Roy. at that time in 1945, and Dr. Humayun Kabir was asked, and then he set up this 22-member committee under chairmanship of Sir N.R. Sarkar, which gave its recommendation that there should be 4, national level institutions, one in North, one in South, one in West, one in East, to cater to the independent India's requirement of technical people, skilled people. So that was the beginning. And unfortunately, if you read that report, if you read the original manuscript, it's very interesting. There's a disagreement by one gentleman. His name is Dr. Nazir Ahmed. He was from Bombay, Dr. Nazir Ahmed. And Dr. Nazir Ahmed has written his note of, dissent. He wanted, whereas the committee recommended these 4 starting from Calcutta or near Calcutta to be first, closely to be followed by Bombay. That was, and the other 2, one in North and one in South. This is how it started. He said that the existing good institutions have not been taken care of. This is wrong. Your methodology is wrong. So you should have, first of all, mapped up what is available, what is requirement, and all existing good institutions were left out in that report, which is a fact. So IITs have come out ignoring the existing good engineering institutions in the country. For example, Guindy in Madras, Roorkee, Thomson College of Engineering, which became Roorkee University in, immediately after independence, 1948. These were Shibpur Engineering College in West Bengal. These are all ignored. So your question that what happens to the good premier institutions as compared to IITs, that was your question.
So how do you compare, sir?
Yeah, coming to that, what has happened, 3 have been merged into IIT system. Now in 2001, Thomson College of Engineering set up in 1847, became Roorkee Universities in 1948, became IIT as a 7th IIT in the year 2001. Now in the year 2012, it is BHU, Banaras Hindu University, which was established as a university in the year 1920. And it had 3 engineering colleges. They were called Banco, Minmat, and Techno. They were merged into one in 1968 to make what is called ITBHU. So ITBHU was, half equal to IIT, but not fully recognized because it was part of BHU. Now in 2012, it is also converted into an IIT. This also became an IIT. And the third example is another very old institution in Indian School of Mines, ISM Dhanbad. It is also one of the oldest institutions in the country, engineering institution, which finally became an IIT. I think it happened in the year 2000, I'm maybe forgetting the date, I think 2016 or somewhere around that. So these 3 old institutions got converted. Yet, there are many institutions like College of Engineering, Pune. It's one of the oldest. Now, College of Engineering, Pune enjoys a certain status in the country. Jadavpur University College, Shibpur, they are still very premier. They are very good, but they can never have the same brand as IIT has.
Okay.
So the reason is, again, I said structure, system. I did not add another dimension, resources, funding, governance. So if you are a state university, your governance system is poor. Or if even if you are a central university, your governance is through UGC. But IITs are beyond this. IITs are not governed by UGC. They are not governed by AICTE. So that means they enjoy a certain level of autonomy, which is not the case.
And even as per you're saying the funding or the grant, IIT receives 100 to 200 million grant from the government, which itself is a huge money to bring the quality.
Let me tell you, there are 23 IITs today, and there are 31 NITs today. Okay. These are just 23 and 31. This makes it 54.
Yes. Yes.
And as per the latest, report on the Ministry of Education website, there are 130 institutes of national importance today in India. These 130 include all IIMs, which are 20 in number, all schools of planning and architecture, all NIDs, all AIIMS, a number of other institutions, including few triple ITs.
Okay.
All this make it 130. Now I'm coming back to NIT and IIT, the number being 54. They take, as per government report, they take 1/4 to 1/3, 25% to 33% of the total entire budget of higher education of this country.
Oh, that's a very interesting fact.
This is a government report.
Right. Okay.
So imagine the kind of funding per student expenditure, which was, there's an old report, was 5.21 lakhs per annum. Per annum, per student expenditure of 5.21 lakhs. And the fees, rupees 2 lakhs per annum from the student. And again, economically backward, socially disadvantaged section of the people, either they pay less or like SC, ST do not pay any fees. So this is the state of funding, which I've given you some idea.
Wow, wow, wow. That's interesting. So coming towards the student side, and what is your experience in dealing with students of IITs till now? I mean, until now.
It's very interesting. And when we say IIT, most of the time we mean BTech students. Let me also tell you that. Okay. That's the meaning of the word IIT by and large. Okay. Because most of the postgraduates are considered to have come through the back door. In the sense, those who could not get BTech, they get into MTech. I mean, I'm putting it very bluntly, but this is how it is. Or those who come to do programs like MBA and others, they are not of the same class as BTech. So BTech is a different class. So I will.
That's what IIT is known about, being the best tech institute.
Yeah, that is true. That is because of the BTech, not because of the MTech. Because the people who enter MTech, in fact, the good BTechs never do MTech from the IITs unless they want to prepare for civil service or something, unless they have a different agenda. Otherwise, they go abroad for their PhD directly. So BTech students go for PhD abroad directly after their BTech. So they don't follow their further education in India. So that means in MTech, you get people coming from other places, not from IITs. Okay. And likewise, this is true of other programs like MBA, etc. So when we talk about the students, we normally talk about BTech. So that is where I want to qualify my statement when you ask my experience with the students. So I will talk about BTech students. Now, BTech students is very interesting. Their journey from first year to fourth year is hilarious. When they come in the first year, they are the best from their mohalla, their street, their locality, because they're selected in IIT. So they come with a very, very, high level of pride and feeling of success and all that. So,
and also entering IIT.
Yeah, entering IIT means like they are regarded very highly by the society, as it happens in India. So they come out with a very big distinct number one. Number two, they have very high hopes, expectations. So they think as if they are going to heaven or something. So that's the thought process they have. When they land up, they are totally confused. So this first 3 to 6 months journey is very funny and different, because everybody is as good as you or better than you. So you were the best at one time. Now here you may be even amongst the laggards. So that is one setback which a student gets right in the beginning when student enters IIT. Number one. Number two, their hopes are largely dashed.
Okay.
So what they thought they will get is what they see they are not getting.
So this is very important area of, I think, for the youth here who are listening this.
Yeah, this is very true, because they get disillusioned. Okay, right. This is the second development. Looking at where they are staying and where they are moving and what they are doing, they are perplexed, they are confused, they are disoriented, and they are disillusioned. So this is the beginning experience. Now, okay. Some of them who are very, very particular and methodical and hardworking and who are working for change of branch, they get into studies seriously because they have to change the branch. So their first year result has to be good. And most others get derailed. because they have suddenly come out of school and they have seen open worlds. So, like staying back late at night, moving about in the campus at night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock and all that, which they had never done in their school time. So they are enjoying the newly found freedom. So the study is a casualty. That's one part. Second, if you will know, the study in first year of engineering is very considered to be very boring and largely repeat of class 12. So it has more of teaching of science and very little of engineering and all that. So students don't enjoy that part also, which is also a fact. So they don't enjoy studies. They are not interested in studies. They don't know what to do. They are totally lost. They are confused. And their scoring in first year, most of them have very poor scores. So this is their first year.
Okay.
And by the time the first year is ending, they realize, oh, I have wasted 1 year. I'm talking about the majority, not everyone. Because some who were serious about their studies, they got high marks, they change the branch also, say from biotechnology or architecture to mechanical or electrical or whatever. So leave aside those few. But my comments are largely for the larger segment of people who are there.
Okay. So, sir, since you shared about the BTech students mostly do BTech and then move abroad, of course, when they come back or they share their experiences with you both here in India in IIT and then moving abroad for further studies, can you share a few testimonials or some share which students have personally shared with you to the audience here?
Today only I talked to one of my students who did BTech a few years back from IIT Roorkee in biotechnology. And it's very interesting. After biotechnology and few other branches are very, rather most, I would say, for example, chemical, for example, metallurgical, for example, architecture, including civil. These branches, people don't get jobs. So either they go for MBA or they go for civil services. But biotechnology, many go for higher studies and research. So this boy went to UK and he did his PhD from one of the best universities in UK. And he has come back to India last year and he is appearing for civil services, UPSC examination for civil service. So I asked him, today this is going to be my discussion or talk. So what do you have to say? He wrote to me, IIT gave me confidence.
Okay.
With IIT tag, you stop doubting yourself. Your risk-taking capability expands in life. And the encouraging peers you get for your whole life is the cherry on the top.
Wow.
So this is interesting. One is you get confidence. And second is your risk-taking capability goes up in life. And third and very important is you have a peer group, which I have also noticed. You were asking my experience. One of the best things which happen in IT is that your peer group is very supportive. No,
that's a growth mindset, sir, we talk about.
Yeah, in fact, that's very positive thing which happens in IT, which may not happen in other institutions. There's another difference. So peer group is very important.
No. That makes the entire difference in making of a life, making of a youth, and bringing all the important values they look forward in the life ahead, sir. So that's very, very interesting, sir. And youth should understand that confidence, courage, ability to take risk are very, very important in life.
Madam, if you permit, I'll just complete the last one. Yes. I talked only about first year. I'll very quickly cover second, third, fourth year. Second year is the time when these boys get into action. So they are participating in every activity. They are seen to be seen everywhere and they are de facto the, operational guys. By the time they are in third year, they are mature, they're sensible, they're doing mentoring of second year and they are, looking up to fourth year guy. And third year is, semi-retirement for them. And fourth year is complete retirement for them. So fourth year, they behave like patrons. So they are not interested in whatever is happening. They are just overseeing, enjoying, smiling. And so this is how the journey goes from first year to fourth year largely. So that is just to complete my last.
So that's a lovely journey of 4 years in the IT. Like, sir, but except study, of course, you did mention that second year there are activities there involved. But can you a little bit more elaborate that? What other things students do except study in IIT?
This question is often asked to me. In fact, I deliver a talk every year in IIT Roorkee, which is
But I think students looks like they're too overburdened. They study a lot. But the flip side also should be shared with the audience. What they do.
This is a very wrong. This is a very wrong statement that they study a lot. They don't study at all. Okay, or they study very less. So that's a wrong statement. Those who are serious-minded in academics, they do research and those kind of activities. So that is true. But as far as study is concerned, course curriculum is concerned, there's hardly any pressure. Let me also share that with you. So your question is, what do they do? This is very important. And if I am asked this question very often and I deliver a talk on this subject and I tell them there are 4 things you should be doing or you could be doing. Number 1, fun and frolic, because if you don't enjoy your present, you will never enjoy your life at all. So, partying, going out, eating out, and, all kinds of things you do, picnic and travel and all that. So that's one part which students do, and they do it more or less consistently all the 4 years. That's one part, right? The second part is sports, games, gymming, outdoor activities. Now, this is very important. And I believe you have, for example, in Roorkee, you have boat club, you have mountaineering club, you have Himalayan Explorer Club. These are unique to Roorkee only, but every institute.
Also, sir, just some share which recently I've read somewhere, the IIT Roorkee is said to have the highest internet speed in the world, and it is 6 times higher as compared to the entire India. So this is something very exciting, that social media is on boom. And IIT Roorkee has become the hub for the internet speed. That's right.
That's right. So there are so many options available for outdoor activities. Okay. There's a hobby club and, so this is just outdoor adventure. Then, of course, there are social, cultural, literary, all those kind of things, sports clubs. So if I am a student, I would love to learn squash if I have not learned. I love to learn tennis if I have not played earlier. I could go for swimming. I can go for horse riding. So these are the things. This is the second part of life in the campus. Okay. And the third part of the life in campus is what could be called as learning. Now, when I say learning, it is beyond your course curriculum. As I told, there's hardly any pressure of studies there. So you get a lot of time. And what do you learn? So you can know about the latest trends in technology. You can know about mega trends in the world. You can read about where the economy of the world is going. You can learn about where United Nations is going, what kind of new things are happening in the world. So that learning, which is beyond your normal course curriculum, is something which is an opportunity to the student, which many of the students really do. I have seen a number of BTech students writing research papers. Okay. And the fourth and the last one is to look at the future. Now, you can't lose sight of your future. And this is where many of the students mistake and they get into trouble because they wake up not before 3rd year. And by the time they wake up in 3rd year, it is little too late because your CGPA has already gone for a 6 and you can't improve it. So the students who were all doing bad in 1st year, in 2nd year, many of them correct themselves, many of them do not. By 3rd year, more or less, the direction is clear. But 3rd year, that's the reason many of the students are doing very serious studies, because in 4th year, the placement will take place. So looking at the future, now you can do online courses, you can do MOOCs, you can do SWAYAM, you can do all these online courses, which in my last few years experience, the numbers have gone up. On an average CV, 10 years back, I used to see 2 or 3 online courses. 5 years back, I used to see on an average 6 online courses done by almost every student. Now, they would have done from Stanford University, they would have done from MIT, and they would have done some best of the courses across. Okay.
Right.
So when you look at the future, you have to look at your CV, you have to make your CV, you have to do networking, you have to attend professional conferences, and you have to attend professional lectures. So all this is preparing for the future. So again, I repeat, 4 part, fun and frolic is first. The second part is, I would say, sports, outdoor activities, gymming, being fit and fine. And third is, as I said, learning is very important, and learning beyond normal. And you can do even courses in yoga, music, whatever. And the fourth one and the last one is looking at your future. Where are you going? Are you going abroad? Are you going abroad? If you're going abroad, you need 1 year for making applications. If you're going for MBA, you have to prepare for either you have to prepare for GMAT or you're prepared for CAT or whatever. So you have to take coaching. People do that. People do all these things. So this is how the journey, of a student in 4 years goes, and these are the kind of activities one can be talking about, right?
So not the question, but with your experience, IIT Kharagpur is like 3 times of the Vatican City. That's the fact. And IIT Guwahati is considered to be the most beautiful campus in 700 acres. But since you being the part of the IIT, according to you, which is the most beautiful campus among all the IITs?
I tell you, this is a slightly difficult and tricky question, both. I'll tell you why. Now, IIT Kharagpur is one of the oldest and one of the biggest campus. Okay. But the fact of the matter is that it was a jail earlier. So how do you react to that is your choice, number one.
Okay.
Number two, IIT Bombay, which was nowhere in the reckoning when it was set up, but it has almost come to number one. Okay, now it has a beautiful lake inside the campus, and the actual space is very, very congested, and it's painfully small, despite having a lake. So if you exclude the lake, campus is different. With lake, campus is different. So that's about that. Now, IIT Madras is in a forest. In fact, you get monkeys and all those things within the campus and getting into your room. So IIT Madras is completely different. Okay. So IIT, again, you come to ITBHU or IIT Roorkee, these are beautiful campus. Both are beautiful campus. I mean, I would say they are uncomparable. So I don't think one can be comparing the campuses in this way, except that IIT Bombay is very small in one way and IIT Kharagpur is very big. And IIT Guwahati is very less talked about because the number of enrollment is very small.
Okay.
So that is where you don't hear much about it. And IIT Guwahati was the 6th IIT set up after a gap of few decades when the first 5 were set up.
So lovely interacting, thoughts. So one more last question with you. What would you advise to a student who gets an admission in IIT?
I would suggest that the student should make a good use of the resources. And when I say resources include physical resources. Physical resources include labs, for example. Labs are, IT facilities are outstanding. That is one. Second is library. Third is sports facilities. These are all physical resources. The second is the academic or intellectual resources. Now you get people who can guide you, who can help you, who can mentor you, and including your seniors. So that is another great advantage of being in IT. The drawback which I've seen in many students is they don't cut across branches or they don't cut across programs. So for example, you are in second year BTech, you should have friends in MBA. You should have friends in MTech in another department. You should have friends who are research scholars, because this advantage which you have, this is missed on largely by most of the students. So this is yet another dimension. And the last and the most important, most of the students, if not most, many of the students spend their time sleeping in the hostel rooms. Now this I find as criminal. Because the time available to you in the campus is to enjoy life, even if you don't study. But sleeping is something that means you are totally losing out on your time. So the 4 years time is such a golden period of life that you can't afford to miss out even on 1 minute of your beautiful life. Because there is so much to look up to. There are eminent people coming to the campus almost every day, very eminent people in X department or Y department or Z department, and the invitations are open. And because now there's so much of money, so even you get free lunch or free tea and all that. So students get that. That used to be attraction 20 years back. Today, it's all that is freely available. So students still don't get into these activities in good numbers. So these are the areas where they can participate.
So, sir, a very interesting share for the youth and everyone, the dream of many the best tech institute of the country, a hub of toppers, equipped with best teaching facilities, top-notch techies, insane competition, but of course, a lovely life of 4 years which Shar has shared, building up your courage, building up your risk-taking abilities, building up your peer collaboration or peer support. These are very, very important to understand and link the youth with the life challenges. Sir, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, views with the youth. I hope it will benefit them to think about, and also who are already admitted in IITs in the first year or the second year, to utilize their time to their best, develop a lot of skills, because when you shared about beyond studies what they can do, a lot of activities and co-curricular activities is also making their further life or the future goals imbibe together with their, of course, the study skills and the co-curricular skills. So any one of you who would like to talk to sir or have career counseling with us and sir also, in terms of also getting your startups mentored, you can reach and write to us at yoursoulsoup@gmail.com. We will link you to Dr. Professor Vinay Nangia, sir. It will be one of the most privileged association with sir and us, so that we can give you the values to direct reach to you, and you can make the best utilization of the expertise sir carry. So sir, thank you so much for the show and making your important time and sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much, sir, and have a lovely day.
Thank you.